On a cold, starry Christmas Eve, as snowflakes danced gently from the sky and blanketed the world in white, Daniel Harris stood alone in his sparsely furnished apartment, his breath visible in the chilly air. The solitary atmosphere of festive celebration echoed around him, but revelry felt foreign to his heart. Daniel, a humble laborer with calloused hands and weary eyes, had always found joy in simple things. Yet this night, surrounded by reminders of his solitude, he was haunted by a feeling of incompleteness, an incompleteness he couldn't quite name, yet sensed deeply within him. As he prepared to settle down for another quiet Christmas, the sudden ringing of his phone broke through the silence. The call was unexpected, a voice from his past that brought with it a flood of memories. Sarah, the woman he once loved dearly. Yet, Sarah's soft voice brought news that would change everything. She was gone, taken by a swift illness that left no time for farewells. Amongst the tears and sorrow, she left a letter, one that revealed a secret kept for too long. He had a son, Ethan, an 8-year-old boy living in an orphanage in Denver, unknown to Daniel until now. Stunned by the revelation, Daniel felt his heart race. A son? The thought bewildered him. How could he, a mere laborer, honor Sarah's last wish? But as he read the words of the letter, it became clear. Sarah had feared rejection but believed Daniel was the only one who could fight for their boy, and now that responsibility lay heavily upon his shoulders. This Christmas would not be about festive cheer or personal loss, it would be a journey to reclaim a lost connection. With determination ignited, Daniel packed his few belongings and set off toward Denver, his heart full of hope and trepidation. The road ahead would be tough, and the scars of his past would undoubtedly resurface, but the memory of Sarah's wish propelled him forward. Daniel envisioned Ethan's face, curious and bright but tinged with sadness, hoping to become the father he never knew he could be. He would not let fear hold him back, he would embrace this fight for their future together. Arriving at the orphanage, an old brick building with fading paint and a worn-out sign, Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. The heavy feeling of uncertainty washed over him as he stepped inside, greeted by the sounds of laughter mingling with cries of joy and sorrow, children grasping their fleeting moments of happiness. It was overwhelming. This place was a sanctuary for loss, a haven for those whom life had dealt cruel hands. And yet, nestled within its walls was the son he yearned to meet. Emily Carter, the social worker responsible for Ethan, scrutinized Daniel upon their first meeting with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. A whirlwind of thoughts raced through her mind. Who was this man claiming a relationship with a child she had grown to love? Although his eyes held sincerity, his scruffy appearance spoke of hardship, raising questions about his capability to embrace fatherhood. As she probed him about his intentions, Daniel felt the weight of the moment as if the future of their relationship hinged on every word. He spoke earnestly about wanting to connect with Ethan, to be the father Sarah had wanted him to be. Daniel's heart sank momentarily as the guarded expression on Emily's face softened a fraction. He could sense a flicker of empathy but understood that the road ahead would be paved with obstacles. She was determined to protect the children in her care, especially one as vulnerable as Ethan, who had experienced far too much loss for someone so young. Could this man be capable of the love and nurturing that an orphan boy needed? After an uncertain conversation, Emily led Daniel to Ethan's room. As Daniel stepped inside, his surroundings faded away, and all he could see was the small boy in the corner, looking out of the window with his back turned. His heart raced at the sight of his son, the embodiment of everything lost and everything possible. But Ethan was not the familiar child he hoped for. No, he was a shy, guarded boy, scarred by abandonment. The air crackled with tension. This was a pivotal moment, one that would define who they could become together. Ethan, Daniel began with a shaky tone, as he approached. "My name is Daniel. I'm your dad." The silence stretched out long between them, thick and heavy with unspoken fears. Ethan slowly turned around, his wide eyes filled with uncertainty. He had waited for someone to come for him, but this wasn't how he had imagined it. Would this man stay, or would he too vanish from his life like so many before? Ethan hesitated, letting the moment drag on. Question marks loomed in his mind, competing voices of hope and dread struggling for dominance. The world of adults had failed him before. Would this man present a new kind of loss? In that moment, Daniel sensed Ethan's turmoil and made an unspoken promise to prove his love, even if the boy resisted. He knew he had to move slowly, patiently weaving his way into the boy's heart, just as he desired to be the father both he and Ethan deserved. Days turned into weeks as Daniel immersed himself in the world of fatherhood, his heart unwavering in determination. Each day he visited Ethan, he unraveled a new layer: the hidden fears, the longing for connection, and a heart tucked away behind the walls of hurt. Through simple games, shared stories, and questions that danced around their emotions, Daniel gradually chipped away at his son's defenses. They began to build a bond, one delicate and precious. Emily watched their interaction evolve with cautious optimism. She had seen countless parents and children attempt to connect, yet none had pulled on her heart quite like this. Daniel's love for Ethan was evident in every gesture, every word spoken, and as he fought to navigate the complexities of fatherhood, Emily found herself drawn into their world. She couldn't help but root for them. Perhaps Daniel was the father Ethan truly needed. Moments of joy emerged from the shadows, and amidst shared laughter and tenderness, Daniel felt a flicker of success the day Ethan took a leap of faith. "Dad," the boy whispered softly, a word heavy with meaning, emerging like a fragile flower blooming for the first time. Daniel's heart soared, a tear escaping his eye as he grasped the profound significance of that single word. In that moment, the spirits of Christmas filled the air, a shining hope that perhaps healing was indeed possible. But navigating family ties isn't just about moments of joy. There's a system in place, and as the days slipped by, the looming shadows of doubt still held their ground. After weeks of interaction, their relationship would face scrutiny from the court system itself. Would Daniel's background, his financial status, and the question of whether he had what it takes to be a father truly overshadow the love he shared with Ethan? In the blink of an eye, the weight of uncertainty returned. As their court date drew near, the atmosphere shifted, tension rising in the air as Daniel prepared himself for the onslaught of questions that lay ahead. Would he prove himself successful in this new role? It was a crossroads, a moment where everything he fought for could either be realized or ripped away. Each day felt like a new battle, a reminder that love alone doesn't always equate to family. The law must weigh in on their tender connection, and it would not be easy. However, Daniel was resolute. He'd fought through hardships before, and he would not back down now. He began to gather evidence, photographs, notes, and records of their time spent together. He even reached out to Emily for support as she agreed to testify on his behalf. As they prepared, Daniel felt a sense of camaraderie with the woman who had at first doubted him. He stood taller, finding strength in their shared resolve to protect Ethan's future. The day of reckoning arrived, and as Daniel stood in the austere courtroom, the world outside faded away. The specter of uncertainty loomed once more, emotions swirled within him, anxious and hopeful at once. In the center of it all was Ethan, with his eyes bright and apprehensive. Glances exchanged between them spoke volumes. It was a bond forged in love, one forged through hardship, and he hoped it would be enough. The judge entered, and the protocol began. Questions flew like arrows, probing Daniel's past, his finances, and his commitment level. Each inquiry felt like an attack, but Daniel stood firm, drawing strength from Ethan's gaze across the room. He articulated the devotion he felt in his heart, how each smile from his son was a lifeline, how with every connection they forged, he was building a home filled with warmth and love against the coldness of the world. The silence that followed felt surreal, as moments stretched on until finally, the judge interjected. Witnessing the bond they shared, the unbreakable spirit that danced between father and son, she leaned in closer. "It is clear you have a genuine connection," she began, her voice soft yet commanding. "Ethan deserves the chance to thrive in a loving environment, one that wholeheartedly supports his well-being." The corners of Daniel's lips turned upward in gratitude, but it was Ethan who rose from his seat, a child rising up for his father, his small hand reaching out for Daniel, building that bridge of connection that would define them forever. As the gavel struck, time froze in celebratory chaos. The judge declared Daniel custody of his son. Cheers erupted, tears were shed, and Daniel scooped Ethan into a tight embrace, the culmination of their strife finally rewarded. Embracing the raw emotion radiated from them, Daniel felt the heavy burden of loss dissipate, the pain of the past now stitched together with the fabric of hope. The journey toward family wasn't over. There would still be 1,000 battles to face, but they would stand tall together, side by side, fortified by love. Leaving the courtroom, hand in hand, they stepped out into the bright, snowy air, the season of Christmas glimmering around them, echoing with the promise of new beginnings. A modest farm awaited them as visions of a cozy home filled their hearts with anticipation and dreams of tomorrow surged. As they walked toward their new life, Daniel knew he had finally embraced his true calling. There, on that modest land, they would cultivate not just crops but a new family, one sprinkled with laughter and the spirit of Christmas, forever intertwined. Each day would be a lesson in love, teaching Ethan about the world while they discovered life together, each moment strengthening their bond. In the warmth of the sun and the joy of newfound memories, they would thrive. In this small oasis embraced by nature's beauty, Daniel finally understood that he had not only found a son but had finally become who he was always meant to be, a father. As Christmas descended, beneath a starlit sky, Daniel and Ethan gathered around a simple wooden table, their hearts brimming with gratitude and love. The spirit of Christmas enveloped them, whispering promises of laughter, dreams, and endless joy. With every moment shared, they honed their family's unique story, forging a future where love conquered all. In the cozy corners of their new home, the light of their bond radiated, a light that would flicker but never falter, illuminating their path ahead, as they ventured through life as father and son, together forevermore. As the dawn of Christmas Day broke and the world outside shimmered in a frosty veil, Daniel awoke with a full heart and a sense of belonging he had never before experienced. The home they had just begun to carve out together spoke loudly of dreams slowly becoming reality. In the weeks since the ruling, Daniel had invested every waking hour in preparing their modest farm, transforming it into not just a shelter, but a sanctuary filled with promise and love. Ethan was still sleeping, curled up tightly in the warmth of his new bed, a colorful quilt draped over him like a protective embrace. Daniel smiled softly at the sight, marveling at the boy's innocence. They had spent countless hours together in the past few weeks, slowly building trust and connection, but now the spirit of Christmas had woven itself into the very fabric of their lives, symbolizing new beginnings and the warmth of family bonds. With excitement bubbling inside him, Daniel quietly tiptoed into the new kitchen, decorated minimally yet filled with the aroma of warmth. The heart of their home, the kitchen, was alive with festive spirit. A tiny tree stood in the corner adorned with handmade ornaments crafted by the two of them, a testament to their blossoming relationship. Beaming with joy, he began preparing the day's breakfast, remembering the small traditions he had yearned to establish with his son. He cracked a couple of eggs and tossed in some bacon, the sizzling sounds accompanied by melodious tunes from an old radio Daniel had found at a local garage sale. As the rich, savory scent filled the air, it seemed to dance around the house, reaching Ethan, who stirred awake. A few moments later, Daniel heard the familiar sound of shuffling footsteps and then the sleepy yet curious voice of his son. "Dad?" Ethan blinked sleepily as he entered the kitchen, rubbing his eyes in a manner that reminded Daniel of his own childhood. It tugged at his heartstrings, remembering his own father who had instilled warmth and security. "Is it Christmas?" Ethan asked, his voice a blend of wonder and excitement. "Yes, it is," Daniel replied, his heart swelling with joy. "Your first Christmas here." He gestured toward the kitchen table where he had set out small gifts, each wrapped in festive paper with strings of colorful bows atop. Daniel watched as Ethan's eyes widened, reflecting the purest form of excitement, a light that danced deep within them, igniting a fire of happiness in the boy's heart. Ethan approached the table with cautious curiosity, his small hands carefully unwrapping the presents, revealing thoughtful gifts that Daniel had hand-picked, books filled with adventure, a set of paints to explore his creativity, and a cozy winter jacket to keep him warm during the cold months ahead. As Ethan discovered each treasure, he looked up at Daniel with a mixture of disbelief and awe. "Thank you, Dad," he exclaimed, his voice a blend of gratitude and newfound belonging. In that moment, Daniel felt the weight of his journey slip away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. Ethan's expressions reflected not just surprise, but a burgeoning trust, an acknowledgement that their bond was solidifying into something tangible. Today, on this Christmas, they were forging memories that would last a lifetime. After breakfast filled with laughter, the two grabbed their warm jackets and ventured outside. The farm lay before them, a blank canvas awaiting their touches. The stark white snow glistened under the sun, an open invitation for adventure. Daniel led the way toward a small plot of land where he envisioned a beautiful garden. He wanted to teach Ethan the ways of nature, imbue him with lessons of growth and patience, and share the importance of nurturing life, just as he was learning to nurture their newfound family. "This will be our garden, Ethan," he said, gesturing to the space. "Here, we'll plant seeds, and in time, they will grow into beautiful flowers and vegetables." As he explained, Ethan's eyes reflected a host of emotions, excitement and curiosity intertwined with a sense of pride. He was finally part of something bigger, a family unit that cared for one another and dreamt together. Ethan knelt down, running his fingers through the untouched snow. In that moment, he seemed both a child and an explorer, eyes wide with anticipation. "Can I plant my own seeds?" he asked, a smile breaking through the remnants of his former guardedness. "Absolutely," Daniel replied, feeling a warm swell of joy. "Together, we will figure out what to plant. Maybe carrots, or radishes, or even sunflowers. What do you think?" Daniel watched as Ethan's face lit up with the possibilities, his laughter ringing like music as he imagined their garden bursting to life. As they plotted their garden, Daniel reflected on the journey they had taken thus far. He marveled at how love had bloomed in the unlikeliest of circumstances, a laborer, a boy alone, finding solace in one another. Their connection grew stronger with each shared moment, and the bonds between them were no longer just tentative. They were rooted in mutual respect, love, and shared experiences. Throughout the day, they immersed themselves in various Christmas traditions. They laughed as they tried to build a snowman, one that tilted awkwardly to one side, yet represented the essence of their time together, the imperfections of life, the beauty behind the efforts, and the joy found in simply being. As evening approached, the two returned to their cozy home. Celebrating Christmas meant more than just gifts and food, it meant creating legacies, weaving traditions that would carry on through generations. Daniel had made the evening special by preparing a simple yet hearty dinner. As they sat together at the table adorned with their mismatched but treasured dishes, a sense of relaxation washed over them both. "Dad, what was your favorite Christmas when you were a kid?" Ethan asked curiously, his eyes sparkling with interest as they savored their meal. Daniel paused, reminiscing about his childhood. "I remember a Christmas when I got my first bicycle. I rode it around our neighborhood until the sun went down. What about you, what's your favorite so far? Ethan took a moment to ponder, his brow furrowed in thought. This one, Dad. Being here together, he said with genuine warmth, his voice barely above a whisper. Daniel's heart melted at his words. He felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude, knowing that despite the challenges they had faced, they had created something beautiful and enduring. Me too, Ethan. This is just the beginning for us. With their bellies full and hearts light, they transitioned to the living room, where the small tree blinked softly, adorned with ornaments representing their journey together. They exchanged heartfelt gifts, simple tokens interlaced with memories they had created, reflecting their unique bond. Daniel gave Ethan a leather-bound journal, a place for his thoughts, stories, and dreams, a safe haven where he could chronicle his adventures. Ethan gifted Daniel a picture he had drawn of the two of them surrounded by blossoms in their future garden, a symbol of life, love, and hope. The art wasn't perfect, but it captured the essence of what they were building together, an unbreakable connection, blossoming amidst the challenges. Tears glistened in Daniel's eyes as he realized the depth of Ethan's understanding. This boy had been searching for love, and now both of them had found a home in each other. As the evening wove on and the stars sparkled brightly across the night sky, they settled in front of the fireplace. It crackled warmly, wrapping them in its glowing embrace. Christmas music played softly as they reveled in the magic of the moment, sharing stories and laughter that drifted into the air like holiday magic. They snuggled under blankets, Daniel feeling contentment swell within him, knowing they had woven precious memories that would last longer than any gift. But in that revelry, there was also a whisper of insecurity, a question of how it would all come together in the cold, demanding world outside. No journey is without its challenges, obstacles remained that could intrude upon their peace. The memories of their past, Daniel's chaotic upbringing and Ethan's loss would linger, entwining with their budding joy in unexpected ways, requiring commitment to navigate the world beyond the sanctuary they had created. That night, as they drifted into sleep, Daniel made a silent promise not only to himself but to Ethan. Together they would cultivate a life filled with love and resilience. They wouldn't allow the shadows of the past to overtake their light, rather, they would stand together, face the challenges head-on, and celebrate every moment, every fight for what they believed in. This Christmas marked a new beginning, not only a moment of celebration but a commitment to nurture a bond that had emerged from the depths of their journey. And so, beneath the watchful gaze of the stars, they both rested soundly, cradled by visions of new adventures ahead, fruits of love yet to be born, and the unyielding spirit of family forged in the depths of their hearts. As winter melted into the promise of spring, Daniel and Ethan settled into a rhythm of life that felt both exhilarating and comforting. Their days became filled with shared responsibilities that strengthened their bond, each task an opportunity to nurture not just their farm but their relationship as father and son. While the cold grip of winter began to recede, unearthing sprouts of green beneath the thawing snow, every laugh and shared glance breathed new life into their growing family. Daniel often rose before dawn, slipping into his old routine of labor, but this time driven by the love he had for his son. He tended to the seeds they'd planted together, marveled at the small sprouts peeking through the soil, and tended to the land with careful hands. The farm began to take shape, each row of vegetables standing like soldiers bracing against the wind, promising nourishment for their future together. Ethan thrived in the warmth of the sunlight cascading down upon them, relishing his new role as Daniel's little helper. He wielded a tiny rake, overwhelmed by pride, attempting to mimic his father's movements as they worked side by side. The dynamic between them shifted, where once there had been uncertainty, now there was understanding and unspoken language that bound them heart to heart. Every shared chore fueled their connection, filling the spaces left hollow by loss. "Dad, look!" Ethan's excited voice broke through Daniel's focused thoughts. He looked up to see his son beaming, pointing to the tiny seedlings they had planted weeks ago. "They're growing. Just like you said." "They sure are, buddy," Daniel replied, kneeling down beside him. "You did a great job helping them. This garden will be our pride." He beamed at Ethan, knowing deeper meanings lay in the sprouting green. Like their relationship, it was fragile yet full of potential, rooted in the love they nurtured with each passing day. With the burgeoning warmth came the promise of Easter, a season of renewal that mirrored Daniel and Ethan's journey together. The sun glimmered brightly as spring flowers began to bloom, the world awakening from its slumber, bringing along a sense of hope and joy. Inspired by the arrival of festivities, Daniel had decided to host an Easter gathering, inviting some neighbors and families from the nearby community to visit, fostering the feeling of belonging, something they both were learning to embrace. Weeks of preparation transformed their modest home into a lively hub of activity, anticipation buzzing in the air. Daniel, driven by a desire to create lasting memories, painted colorful eggs with Ethan, laughter fluttering as they doused themselves in vibrant hues. Their laughter echoed through their little home, drowning out any whispers of doubt that lingered from the past. When the day of the celebration arrived, the sun smiled down upon the gathering, and the farm blossomed with excitement. Neighbors brought food, children ran about chasing one another, their cries merging with the chirps of birds overhead. Ethan, dressed in his best clothes, looked out at the scene, a sense of joy blooming within him, a happiness he had never known before. "Dad, can we hide the eggs?" he asked with sparkling eyes, skimming through the grass like an adventurous explorer. "Of course." Daniel chuckled, matching his son's excitement. "Let us make this a hunt to remember." They set about carefully scattering the eggs, laughter bubbling between them like an uncontainable force. Each colorful egg, hidden within flower patches or under bushes, remained a secret treasure waiting to be discovered by eager hands. The search began, and the farm transformed into a treasure trove filled with giggles and squeals. Children darted every which way, Ethan leading the charge. For every egg found, he looked back toward Daniel with unfiltered happiness, relief washing over Daniel as he realized he was finally giving Ethan the childhood he deserved after years of uncertainty. "I found one. Over here." Ethan shouted, insistent, drawing Daniel into the moment even more. For every success marked by Ethan's discovery, Daniel felt layers of his past unpeeling, reminding him how essential it was for his son to experience joy, how vital it was to create memories untouched by shadows of sorrow. As the sun dipped lower, casting hues of soft pink and gold across the landscape, the gathering settled down around their outdoor table for a shared feast. Faces lit with smiles, conversations flowed as neighbors shared tales of their own struggles, dreams, and laughter, relishing the sense of community that had blossomed around them. Daniel watched with pride as Ethan animatedly recounted the adventures of the day, recounting how he had raced to find the most eggs, a smile breaking through the surface of his joy. The room filled with laughter, and Daniel couldn't help but feel that this was more than just a day of celebration. It was a testament to their shared journey, a brick laid in the foundation of their home. As evening approached, Daniel orchestrated a group activity that would heighten their joy even further, a storytelling circle. Friends gathered around as Daniel began weaving imaginative tales of bravery, of heroes who battled fears and forged ahead in the face of uncertainty. Every story was a reflection of their own experience, a reminder of the strength cultivated through love and hope. But amid the laughter, when Daniel took a moment to look at Ethan, a tinge of melancholy pricked at his heart. There were echoes of quieter days and the shadows that had once loomed before them. He wished to protect Ethan from all that had gone wrong in their pasts, but knew the journey wouldn't always be easy. As the stars twinkled above, later that night, Daniel tucked Ethan into bed, the boy sleepy but content. "Dad," he murmured, nestling into the warmth of his blankets, a shy smile lingering at the corners of his lips. "This was the best day." "Thank you." Daniel felt a stirring ache within him. "You're welcome, Ethan. But remember, this is just the beginning. We'll create many more memories together," he promised, his heart swelling at the innocence and growth reflected in those golden eyes. As Ethan drifted off to sleep, the world outside calmed. Daniel stepped outside onto the porch, taking a moment to appreciate the expanse of stars glimmering in the vast sky. The warmth of the day lingered, filling his soul with tranquility. Yet beneath the peace, uncertainty still loomed. The world where Daniel had built a life thrived on resilience and unfamiliar challenges. Would he always be able to shield Ethan from life's difficulties? Strong bonds formed over shared experiences could still shatter with the force of unkind truths. Fragile moments lingered, reminders present as the evening breeze whispered through the trees. And then, a soft voice broke through the night, a familiar voice echoing within the silence. It was Emily, the social worker who had believed in him when he hadn't yet seen the full potential. She stepped onto the porch, her eyes sparkling in the moonlight. "Daniel, I just wanted to tell you how wonderful today was. You've done an incredible job with Ethan," she said, an air of admiration laced in her words. It reached Daniel's ears, a validation he so desperately sought. "I couldn't have done it without your help," he admitted, his voice steady. "You believed in us." They shared a moment of connection. Emily had been his ally. In that exchange, the weight of uncertainty lessened momentarily. "It's more than just belief, Daniel. You've proven that love knows no bounds. You've transformed the lives of both you and Ethan," she replied, nodding as understanding filled the space between them. "But I also have to warn you, social services will keep checking in regularly. They want to ensure that the changes are standing firm. You'll need to show that you're suitable for the long term. Raising a child is a constant commitment." Daniel understood the stakes. It was a reality he anticipated but couldn't suppress the swell of concern that rippled within him. "I'll do everything to make sure Ethan feels safe. He's my responsibility now," he assured her, a fire igniting inside him. "Just take it one day at a time," Emily said softly, her smile warm and encouraging. "If you ever feel unsure, don't hesitate to call me. I'm here to help you both succeed." Gratitude washed over Daniel as he sensed her sincerity. "Thank you, Emily. Your support means more than I can express," he replied, knowing how vital the words would be as they faced the future. Once Emily departed, Daniel returned inside to where Ethan slept soundly. The boy's gentle breathing soothed him, lulling his anxieties. As he took a moment to reprieve in the quiet, he realized that the heart of courage didn't mean the absence of fear but rather the will to navigate through it, a lesson he wished to impart to his son. As spring blossomed into life, with the flowers blooming brighter and the warmth of the sun setting upon their farm, Daniel vowed to embrace the promise of each day. There would be challenges, a multitude of them, but every sunny morning brought a renewed opportunity to foster the steady rhythm of growth, trust, and love. It would be a journey steeped in lessons of resilience. With every shared gaze, every tender touch, their family would continue to bloom against the contours of life, a narrative crafted from both their wounds and their joys. Ethan would grow to be more than just a son. He would blossom into a legacy of love, nurtured through what Daniel had once thought unimaginable, a life filled with laughter, adventure, and the undeniable magic of Christmas carried forward in their hearts. As the vibrant colors of spring began to paint the landscape of their farm, Daniel and Ethan fell effortlessly into the rhythm of their new life. Day by day, they cultivated not just a bountiful garden, but also an unshakable bond, one that blossomed in the sun's warm embrace and grew resilient against the occasional storm. Ethan was now a whirlwind of energy and laughter as he took on the role of Daniel's little sidekick. They tackled the farm chores together, with Ethan eagerly helping to tend to their crops, chase off errant rabbits, and even learn how to bake a pie from their fresh berries, a sweet treat earned after hours of labor but made all the sweeter by shared laughter and flower-covered faces. One particularly sunny afternoon, Daniel found himself kneeling in the soil, planting tomato seedlings while Ethan raced around in the light, chasing butterflies. There was a rich fullness in the air, the aroma of spring mingling with the scent of earth and fresh growth, and Daniel paused, delighting in the sight of his son's uncontained joy. "Catch me, Dad!" yelled Ethan, darting away as he leapt toward a patch of blooming daisies. He look back, trusting that Daniel would follow, and that faith tugged at Daniel's heart, filling him with warmth. The boy was flourishing. Daniel chuckled, rising with a playful lunge. "You think you can outrun me?" With newfound vigor, he chased after his son, laughter ringing through the air, a sonorous melody of connection and joy. But the youthful play was just a fraction of their evolving relationship. As days turned into weeks, the lessons of responsibility and belonging deepened. Daniel frequently reflected on the importance of showing Ethan that in life, love must be nurtured with effort, just as they cared for their crops. Each night, after the work was done and supper shared, they would settle together on the porch under a star-studded sky. Daniel would read stories to Ethan from a collection of children's books, voices animated by the warmth of familial bonds being nurtured through shared tales of adventure and magic. On this particular evening, captivated by the stories and the calm serenade of crickets, Daniel noticed a flicker of pensive energy in Ethan's demeanor. "Dad?" the boy questioned softly, lifting his gaze from the book lingering in his hands, uncertainty lacing his innocent voice. "Yes, buddy," Daniel replied, sensing gravity in the air. "What's on your mind? What is family?" Ethan frowned slightly, his brow furrowing as he probed deeper into a concept that held layers of meaning, a journey both delicate and profound. Daniel felt a flutter of apprehension grip his heart, knowing he needed to answer wisely. Family is a group of people who love each other, support one another, and stick together, no matter what, he explained, choosing his words carefully. It's about caring for each other, going through challenges together, and having fun along the way. We may not always be perfect, but we face each moment together. Ethan nodded thoughtfully, but his expression remained thoughtful. "But my family," he trailed off, glancing toward the horizon where the stars began to twinkle bright. "It's different," he murmured, opening a door to a painful segment of his past loss that he had not yet fully articulated. Daniel sensed the weight in his voice, recalling Ethan's earlier shadows of pain. He leaned closer, watching as the boy wrestled with emotions he had long kept buried. "It's okay to miss them, Ethan. You can love them and still find joy here, with us," Daniel offered gently, knowing this was a delicate moment he needed to navigate with care. "But what if I forget?" Ethan's voice trembled slightly, the vulnerability piercing Daniel's heart. "What if I can't remember their faces? What if I don't want you as my dad?" A lump formed in Daniel's throat as he pondered the question. What could he say to soothe this fear, one that stemmed from a childhood filled with turmoil? "Ethan," he began, placing a comforting hand atop the boy's shoulder. "You won't forget them. They will always be a part of you, just as you're a part of me now. I'll never replace the people you loved, and that love will always remain close to your heart. But being a family means we create new memories together while honoring the ones we've lost. And you don't have to worry, I'm here for you." The sincerity in Daniel's words seemed to settle into the air between them, bridging the vast gulf of uncertainty. Ethan regarded him for a moment, his expression softening, though the weight hung in the air. I want you to be my dad," he finally declared, the honesty laced with a hint of apprehension. Daniel's heart soared, tears sensitive yet joyful flooding his eyes. "Then I will be, forever," he replied, gathering Ethan into a hug that felt like a solidified promise, one warmed by the love they shared. As summer danced forward, Daniel admired the resilience of nature around them, even as he observed the blossoming of Ethan's spirit. But life, as always, bore with it an unpredictable rhythm. The sun shone brighter, the world vibrant with possibilities, but as their routines flourished, so too did the periodic checks from social services. Daniel grew anxious, knowing each visit carried the potential for scrutiny, evaluating not just their living situation, but the strength of their bond. During one of those visits, a stern social worker arrived with a clipboard in hand, questions flowing like a steady, relentless stream. Daniel's heart raced. No matter how much evidence he provided of their growth, the shadows of insecurity and doubt lingered, nipping at his confidence. "Daniel," the worker inquired, her eyes critically scanning the room. "Can you tell me more about your plan for Ethan's education? Children at his age need structure and routine." Ethan, ever perceptive, hovered nearby, catching his father's tense energy interwoven with uncertainty over the future. "Dad, I want to learn to read better," he chimed in, his small voice soaring with hope amidst the seemingly judgmental atmosphere. "Of course you do, buddy," Daniel coached, casting a reassuring glance at Ethan. "We already have your books, and after our chores, we can start learning together. I've seen your progress, you're doing great. With your current resources, this might not be enough to provide the educational foundation he needs," the social worker continued, her demeanor unwavering. Daniel felt the urgency pulse in his veins, restrictive pressure building in his chest as he scrambled to articulate their unconditional love and commitment beneath the analytical gaze of formal procedure. "We're creating a learning environment here that encourages exploration," he argued, determination lacing his words. "Ethan thrives in nature and draws inspiration from the world around him. We'll make the garden an educational space." The social worker paused, her expression softening just a fraction at the sight of their shared determination and the earnestness in Daniel's eyes. It painted a picture that transcended mere circumstantial concerns, a family without bounds shaping their destiny through love and perseverance. As weeks rolled into months, the dynamic between Daniel and Ethan flourished like the very crops they tended. Each day was filled with fleeting moments that, when strung together, created a tapestry of experiences both vibrant and subtle, a quiet understanding of joy laced with the bittersweet flavors of the past. Ethan's laughter echoed through the fields, while Daniel found comfort and reassurance in their evolving routine. They would embark on weekend adventures, exploring the nearby woods, hiking through trails sprinkled with wildflowers, introducing Ethan to a world alive with wonder that thrived just beyond their home. One day, while exploring a wooded trail, Ethan spotted a fallen tree, its gnarled roots exposed from years of accumulation. "Dad, can we climb on it?" he asked, excitement bubbling forth. "Of course, let us see how high we can go." Daniel encouraged. Together they embarked on an impromptu adventure of climbing and navigating. The tree provided a sense of exhilaration, they laughed, calling out to one another as they found their way higher, reaching new heights together. But just as the world seemed bright, the emotional resonance of their past often drifted back into focus. Awakened within Ethan were the memories of his mother, a mother who had safeguarded him against the complexities of grief but had never been there to stand beside him in moments like this. Rising above treetops, the echoes of loss melded with joy, creating a beautiful yet complex harmony. "Dad?" Ethan's voice broke through the quiet, a hint of uncertainty grounding their exhilaration. "Do you think Mom would like this place?" The question caught Daniel off guard, gently reminding him that lost threads through every joyous moment. "I believe she would. She loved you, buddy. You can carry that love with you wherever you go," Daniel reassured, the vulnerable memory of Sarah enveloping them like a shadow caught in the sunlight. "You make her proud, every day." As they climbed down from the tree, Ethan nodded, a mixture of sadness and recognition crossing his features. "You're right. I just wish she could see us," he murmured, the air suddenly heavy with unspoken wishes. "And she does, in her own way," Daniel whispered, knowing there were no perfect words. They descended to solid ground together, reminded that their journey through happiness and sorrow would intertwine indefinitely. Time marched forward toward summer, weddings were in bloom, and so were the festivities of the upcoming holiday season. With the prospect of Christmas loomed ahead, Daniel felt that same familiar mixture of excitement and pressure, eager to create something special for Ethan, an opportunity to weave more traditions, more memories into their journey. After all, hope had proven resilient, a determining force that dwelled within their hearts. Daniel decided they would host a community gathering once again, this time more elaborate than before. He wished to bring their neighbors together, a celebration of gratitude for the past year, praising the joy of companionship among their community. They rallied together to bake, decorate, and prepare the farm for a festive evening that would be full of warmth, laughter, and connection. Underneath the growing anticipation lingered a quiet worry, the pressure to keep Ethan happy, to forge beautiful memories whilst silently fearing he may never entirely heal from his loss. As December approached, the thoughts weighed heavily on Daniel's mind. On the eve of the festival, as they hung colorful lights upon the porch and crafted decorations out of natural foliage, Daniel felt an ache creeping beneath the surface. Staring out into the star-speckled sky, he considered the past year of their lives where they had weathered storms but also thrived in the sunlight. He knelt beside Ethan, the little boy's fingers deftly weaving twinkling lights along the porch banister. "Ethan, are you excited about the party tomorrow?" he asked, carefully observing the light reflecting in his son's eyes. "I can't wait," Ethan exclaimed, an infectious enthusiasm bubbling forth. "I want to sing all the carols we practiced and decorate the cookies." "That sounds like a plan," Daniel responded with a smile, but the words caught in his throat. "But do you ever think about your mother during the holidays?" Ethan paused, the laughter fading momentarily. "Sometimes, but it's okay, Dad," he replied, his words a balm and yet laced with a heart-still ache. "I know you love me, and I love you. You're my family now." Daniel pulled Ethan into a warm embrace, the son he had fought so hard to find. In that moment, wrapped within their starlit evenings, he felt a quiet understanding. Love was not a competition of who could replace whom. Love was a tether that brought them together, an evolving journey where every heart connection weaved deeper bonds into a family made by choice and unwavering commitment. As the celebration day approached, every fleeting moment felt significant. Snowflakes began to flutter down, lightly blanketing the world of their farm like delicate whispers of joy. It was a reminder that this year, like their love, had blossomed through challenges and triumphs. The day arrived, and their farm transformed into a beacon of festivity. A chorus of laughter filled the air as families gathered. Children played, neighbors exchanged heartfelt stories, and Daniel watched with pride as Ethan reveled in the love inherent in the gathering. As evening fell and laughter echoed through the crisp night air, the gathering ignited into a realm of shared memories, the air dense with warmth and camaraderie. In that ethereal light, Daniel understood that home was not defined by brick and mortar but by the people who filled it with laughter and love, by moments of connection that illuminated the shadows cast by the past. As the stars twinkled overhead, Daniel couldn't help but steal glances at Ethan. His laughter, his joy, each moment was a testament to love's capacity to heal. Deciding to share, he called for attention as he stood before the assembled crowd. "Thank you all for being here," Daniel began, his voice steady yet brimming with emotion. "This past year has been unlike anything I could have imagined. Together, we've built a home filled with love, and I'm grateful for every single person here today. You all have become part of our family." As the gathered crowd erupted into cheers, Daniel noticed Ethan beaming, eyes bright and filled with hope. In that instant, everything came full circle. Daniel understood he hadn't just claimed a son, he had claimed an entire life woven firmly into the fabric of love and community. And for the first time in many years, Daniel truly believed that despite the shadows in their past, the future glimmered with promise, a future brimming with potential and love. With laughter echoing, and surrounded by those who mattered, they raised their glasses toward the winter sky, a toast to family, new beginnings, and the enchanting spirit of Christmas grounding each heartfelt moment, illuminating their path ahead. The embers of the fire crackled softly, and as the evening deepened into cherished moments, Daniel and Ethan cozied together, content knowing they had finally embraced a home, their home. And as he tucked Ethan into bed that night, Daniel knew that their journey was far from over, but the binds they had strengthened would carry them well into the light of every tomorrow, a testament to love everlasting. As January rolled in, blanket after blanket of fluffy white snow settled around their farmhouse, and the world appeared peaceful yet remote. Daniel felt a contented warmth in their home, though the crisp air outside occasionally reminded him of the challenges that lay ahead for both him and Ethan. The holidays had filled their lives with vibrance, yet the coldness of winter often prompted silent introspection, ghostly echoes of unspoken anxieties lingering in the stillness. Winter was a time meant for reflection, a moment to gather thoughts before the thaw of spring ushered in fresh possibilities. With the festive cheer now a memory, Daniel noticed the subtle toll that the holidays had taken on Ethan. At times, the radiant laughter of the boy would dim, shadows penetrating the joy they had built. "Dad, can we build a big snowman?" Ethan asked one afternoon, shaking off the remnants of the holiday exuberance that had clouded their routine. Asking for a snowy afternoon filled with laughter tugged at Daniel's heart. It was an affirmative sign that Ethan still sought joy in their shared world. "Absolutely," Daniel replied, a spark igniting within him at the thought of spending the day outdoors, crafting a snowman as tall as the both of them combined. Dressed warmly in layers, they bundled up and stepped outside, where the crisp air and white expanse greeted them like an old friend. Ethan's laughter soon echoed through the fields as they rolled snow into massive balls, creating the base of a large snowman. "Let's make it the biggest one ever," Ethan shouted, determination written across his features. They worked side by side, Daniel showing Ethan how to add smaller snowballs for the head, fitting them together until they emerged with a grand, whimsical snowman complete with a carrot nose, coal for eyes, and an old scarf wrapped snugly around its frosty neck. Their accomplishment filled them with delight, and for a moment, the frosty world melted away into the beauty of creation. Once finished, they celebrated their handiwork, standing back to admire the snowman they had built together. "It's perfect, Dad," Ethan exclaimed, his sparkling eyes betraying any of the shadows from the past. "It sure is," Daniel replied, proud of their shared triumph, but he also couldn't shake the responsibility now burgeoned within him. How they had connected, who they still longed to become. Building a snowman, although simple, was more than just a fun winter activity. It was a vivid reminder of resilience and embodiment of the creativity and love they poured into the world around them. Yet, amid these moments of joy, both he and Ethan wrestled silently with shadows that occasionally crept in. Daniel was aware that even as they created joy, thoughts of her mother lingered at the edges of Ethan's mind. There would be times when memories of Sarah cast a shadow, an equivalent understanding of love that could neither be overshadowed nor replaced. That evening, while watching the snowflakes dance down outside their window, Daniel sensed the boy caught between elation and a longing for comfort found only in their shared memories. "Dad?" Ethan spoke softly, his gaze set upon the swirling snowflakes that drifted like memories through time. "Can we talk about Mom?" In that moment, Daniel's chest tightened, but he nodded. This was part of their journey to share not only the happiness but the memories that lingered beneath the surface. "Of course, buddy," he replied gently, inviting the boy closer. "What do you think she would say about our snowman?" Ethan asked, his voice poised between the realms of nostalgia and a child's curiosity, characteristics that fascinated Daniel to no end. A smile unfurled on Daniel's lips as he considered the question. I think she would have loved it. She always enjoyed the simple joys, making memories, even in the snow. She used to say that snowmen were a reminder of happiness that can come from the coldest of days. Ethan pondered his father's words, a wave of emotion cascading through him. Do you think she's watching over us? I do, Daniel affirmed, an echo of the belief he cherished. I know she would want the best for you, just as we do now. No one can take that love away, Ethan. It's still with us. A comfortable silence enveloped them, and Daniel felt the chill of loneliness drift away as they shared warmth in their memories. Describing more moments of laughter, love, and Sarah's quirky ways imprinted subtle smiles upon Ethan's face. Would she still love to have snows outside? Building those little snow forts? Ethan asked, curiosity sparking in his eyes, leaning into Daniel's embrace as they laughed together. Yes, she would. And you know what? We can still build those forts for her. In her honor. Daniel felt a deep connection emerge, a bond rich and textured that stirred emotions as he envisioned recreating long-forgotten memories with his son. So, the next day, they set out once more to the wide stretch of their yard, intent on crafting an impressive snow fort. They rolled giant heaps of snow and packed it tightly, forming thick walls that encapsulated them. Laughter erupted as they constructed walls lining with playful snowballs, evoking much joy reminiscent of a fairy tale kingdom. In that small moment putting together walls of snow, it became apparent this journey was not just about building physical structures, but reaffirming bonds through shared experiences, shaping a life that married memories from the past with hope for their future. Each laugh, each playful shove of snow reminded them that family was made from deeper connections, a symbiotic weaving of the old and the new. As winter gave way to whispers of spring, the days began to elongate, pouring sunlight upon their farm, calling for renewal. Daisy blossoms began to kiss the earth, heralding a new cycle, planting the seeds of hope amid laughter and sunlight. One afternoon, while tending to their garden, news from the world outside arrived unexpectedly. A letter arrived from social services, a required check-in to discuss Daniel's progress as a guardian, and he held it tightly in his hands. The letter outlined an inquiry into their life. Worry about whether Daniel would still maintain his capacity to care for Ethan weighed upon his shoulders. Daniel's heart raced with uncertainty. I can do this, he told himself, thinking how far they had come. He needed to prepare for their gathering, to show them the love and tender care that defined their new life. Together they must showcase how they had built a haven filled with the warmth of resilience and diligence. Later that week, on the day of the visit, Daniel and Ethan busied themselves preparing for the social worker's arrival. They cleaned their home, ensuring every corner gleamed, sharing a few nervous glances sprinkled with excitement, hopeful their efforts would demonstrate their familial bond. When the social worker arrived, Daniel felt the tremors of apprehension, churning doubts slipping into the edges of his thoughts. Would they see the love that grew in this home? Would they believe in their journey? Welcome, he said warmly, extending a hand as they stepped inside, revealing the heart of their vibrant home. The warmth and smell of freshly baked goods filled the air, a reflection of the life they had constructed over the months. As the worker surveyed their surroundings, Daniel led her through their daily routines, how they worked together to care for the land, their garden blossoming with fresh vegetables, Ethan flourishing with each passing day. He showcased Ethan's newfound skills in reading and writing, the boy recounting tales of adventure with an infectious enthusiasm that would dispel any doubts lingering in the air. By the end of the visit, a palpable sense of complexity hung in the air, but Daniel remained steady. As the social worker concluded, she recognized the work and commitment they had nurtured. It's clear you both share a strong bond, and Ethan is thriving here. Then, with a spark of hope igniting within Daniel, she continued, I believe you are doing well and providing an environment full of love and stability, and I'm encouraged to see both your growth. With the relief cascading over them like a wave washing away an unkind shore, Daniel felt Ethan's small hand slip into his as he provided a reassuring squeeze, both knowing their bond had passed another test. Later that evening, Daniel knelt beside Ethan's bed, a soothing light illuminating their room as he tucked the covers snug around him. We did it, Dad! Ethan exclaimed, radiating a sense of triumph. You did it, buddy, Daniel replied, leaning down to kiss the boy gently on his forehead. It's a testament to everything we've created together. All the laughter, love, and hard work today prove that family is forged from the heart. With memories of laughter, love, and shared experiences glowing like the fading light of a lantern, the calm of the following mornings began to unfurl warmth onto their garden. Choosing moments to rise anew with the sun symbolized a deeper realization that the journey of fatherhood had become about nurturing not just crops, but a soul. Ethan's soul. Their connection grew as they wove through the seasons, embodied with memories made tangible in every corner of their loving home where shadows often surrendered to light. Time faded swiftly. Under the sun's watchful gaze, untold joys awaited. Growing stronger together, Daniel, Ethan, and the family they had forged through shared love, laughter, and the true spirit of resilience would venture onward, hand in hand. An unbreakable bond established a foundation to nurture not only their home but also the world around them, where every bloom and every whisper of joy reaffirmed that they were slowly building a legacy that intertwined their lives, each moment just a beautiful brushstroke on the canvas of love. As winter melted into the hopeful embrace of spring, the world around Daniel and Ethan blossomed in tandem with their bond, transforming the farm into a thriving sanctuary of growth, warmth, and connection. With each passing day, the echoes of their struggles faded, replaced with laughter that sprouted like wildflowers amidst the fields they had nurtured together. The seasons had turned, carrying them forward in a symphony of life, love, and a testament to their resilience against the backdrop of unwritten possibilities. Daniel's labor as a father had breathed new life into the family. They built a family woven from the remnants of past losses and brightened by the choices they had made together. They became a beautiful patchwork, filled with warmth from shared memories, as well as the promise of endless tomorrows. Every day became an opportunity to create new rituals, traditions that radiated through the corners of their lives, binding them closer and deeper. Amidst gardening sessions, summer picnics, and evenings spent sharing stories under the stars, Daniel marveled at how Ethan had transformed. The boy's laughter was now unrestrained, bubbling forth like a cascading fountain, and within those moments, Daniel glimpsed the essence of childhood, a lightness that meant healing had taken root in their hearts. The garden they tended together served as a living metaphor for their evolving relationship, sprouting in vibrant hues of hope. Basketball games were played in the backyard, snow forts were built each winter like fortresses of joy, and the simple act of cooking dinner together evolved into shared routines that fostered growth and understanding. They were intertwined through hard work and deep love, and together they had forged an unbreakable foundation, a sanctuary where Ethan was free to explore the world with newfound confidence. As each season ushered in change, Daniel faced an upcoming milestone: the first day of school for Ethan. The thought stirred both excitement and nervousness within him. How would Ethan navigate the unfamiliar halls of learning? Would he find friends and carry his spirit? These questions danced in Daniel's mind, but he reminded himself that they had equipped Ethan with the strength needed to take those leaps into the unknown. On a bright autumn morning, Daniel stood beside his son as they approached the school for the first time, heartbeats synchronizing in anticipation. He knelt down to meet Ethan's inquisitive gaze, feeling that familiar whirlwind of emotion swirl within. "Remember, buddy, no matter what, I'm here for you. Just be yourself." Ethan nodded, his small hand gripping the precious backpack filled with dreams, his head held high as he took a step forward into his bright future. The moment marked a new chapter, one Daniel cherished as he bore witness to his son's growth and independence. Their journey had matured, encompassing everything they had forged together: love, trust, and resilience intertwined, teaching Ethan how to bloom wherever he was planted. Months passed like the turning of pages in a cherished storybook, where each turning chapter expressed the beauty of relationships evolving in tandem. Daniel felt a sense of pride blossom anew as he saw Ethan embrace life with open arms. The boy fared well in school, made friends, and flourished far beyond his old fears, echoing the belief that family was defined by the bonds built upon love instead of blood alone. Daniel soon realized that every joy allowed love to flourish, dissolved shadows, and became foundational in who they had both become. Each hug shared in the setting sun, every bedtime story snuggled beneath blankets, revealed their shared truths, nurturing a profound understanding that family meant showing up for each other no matter what. With the arrival of winter once more, they prepared to celebrate the Christmas season, their traditions now rich and vibrant, reflecting all their memories intertwined. Daniel felt a warmth envelop him as he decorated the tree with Ethan, recalling how far they had traveled, with loss transforming into celebration, a circle completed. And as the season whispered through the trees, Daniel decided to set up a small dinner for their neighbors, just as they had done the previous year, revitalizing the essence of togetherness. On Christmas Eve, the warmth of the fire crackled, blankets draping comfortably over their shoulders as they invited laughter and love into their home. The decor sparkled in brilliance, hearkening back to the many lessons etched in their hearts. As guests arrived, the gentle sway of family and friends wrapped them in unison, beautiful stories woven throughout as love permeated the air. In their small farmhouse, love bloomed brighter than it ever had, where everyone felt at home, cherishing the wonder of connection amidst chaos. That night, Daniel reflected on his journey, the boy he had fought to find, the family he had nourished with love, the beautiful tapestry woven through trust and understanding. A decade ago, he had been alone, but now a burgeoning life enveloped him as it pulsed with vibrant memories. He was no longer just Daniel Harris, he was a father, a protector, a builder of dreams anchored in hope. As they gathered around the table, light flickered from each smile and each lifted glass, a toast to love, resilience, and the bond they had created. To family, Daniel proposed, looking at Ethan, knowing that their lives had blossomed, forged in a love so profound it could weather any coming storm. To family, Ethan echoed, beaming with elation, drawing strength from the knowledge that he belonged. The night spilled into heartwarming stories, playful laughter, and reflections on the past, where dreams were shared, where hearts were connected, and where the true spirit of Christmas resided, not in the gifts wrapped in shiny paper, but in the love that intertwined their lives. Underneath the expansive sky, framed by the twinkling stars, Daniel melted into the moment as thoughts of the future cascaded through him. This was not just a celebration of Christmas, but a celebration of each step they had taken together, each tear shed, and each laugh, creating a legacy built upon love that would endure for generations. As they settled together, laughter still brightening the air around them, Daniel held on to the belief that home was defined not just by walls but by each memory shared, every struggle faced, every encounter forged, all intertwined in joy and love. And so, they embraced the future, guided forward by the warmth of shared hearts, nurturing life's garden as they forged onward, each moment solidified by everything they had come to embrace as family. A new dawn would continue to weave its magic, ensuring that, even amidst loss, love could always shape brighter tomorrows, builds bridges of hope, and transform lives into timeless stories, threaded with everlasting joy, the heart and soul of the lives they cherished. In the presence of both beloved memories and radiant tomorrows, together, they journeyed onward, knowing that they would forever be rooted in one another's hearts, holding the truest essence of family close, celebrating each moment together, living life fully until the very last bloom had flourished into radiant blossoms of love. If you like this inspiring story, subscribe to our channel and check out what we have for you and your grandchildren in the pinned comment below.